Hey guys, Lindsay here. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already tuned in or this is your first time, a warm welcome to you. You can find me over at the Poshmark app at LMW2491. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about some reseller tools that are just some essential things to have around to continue doing Poshmark right. So some things to have in your toolkit, just so that we can ensure as sellers that your items reach the hands of your buyers in a really good, presentable condition. So the goal here is to take you through a list of 2 or 3 basic tools that every single posher I think should be using if they're, poshing in the correct way. And yes, there is a correct way to posh. Trust me, I've seen my fair share of really bad closets. And then, that aside, because yours isn't bad, yours is awesome, we're going to take you into some more advanced tools. And perhaps these are things that you're already using and are already taking advantage of. But maybe you're tuning in and this is the first that you've heard of a certain product or tool that could really aid or help you step up your Poshmark game. So the first tool that we're going to be talking about is your basic pair of scissors. This is super essential to have in your toolkit because not only will these scissors allow you to cut off loose threads from garments, but these are going to allow you to take those shipping labels and trim them all nice and pretty so that they fit right on your box to ship out to your buyer. I use these for both purposes. This is a daily thing that I use always. With the thread cutting, keep in mind that you want to only really be cutting threads that are still attached to the garment, or when you are cutting them, making sure that, the one that you want to take off is still sewn in. Because if you cut too close to the seam, that could unravel the whole thread, in which case the buyer would certainly have a reason to open up a case against you. So really making sure that you're very purposeful in where you're cutting and like how much of the thread that you're cutting off of the garment. So keep that in mind. All right, so the second tool that I think every posher should take full advantage of is their handy dandy tape measure. Now you might have one that looks slightly different than this. You might have a fabric one. It's perfectly fine. They all serve the same purpose. But basically what you want to be sure to do when you're listing your items is provide the measurements in the places that buyers usually look to see if that garment is going to fit them. For a blouse, that's 3 things. A blouse, you want to measure the bust measurement, you want to take the length measurement, and then you also maybe want to even take the sleeve measurement, especially if it's a shorter sleeve that's not designed to be full length. The second garment that you might measure is a pair of pants or a pair of jeans. And again, there are 3 specific measurements you want to take for a pair of pants. And that's going to be the waist. So looking at the top of the pant from side to side, how long is the waist? And I always do my measurements in inches. That just seems to be what people desire the most. I never get asked for a centimeter conversion or anything else wonky like that. It's usually always in inches, and that's perfectly fine. So the waist on a pair of pants, and then you want to also do the rise, which is from the crotch of the pant to the top hem. And then finally for a pair of pants, you want to do the inseam, which is from the crotch to the bottom hem of the pant. So providing that measurement is going to be great for your buyer. And the last measurement you're going to want to be able to provide for your buyer is going to be on a dress. So for the dress, you're going to want to do the bust again. You're going to want to do the length, obviously. And then for the dress, you're also going to want to focus in on the waist measurement. For dresses, it's really tricky to buy a dress online and feel comfortable, knowing that that dress is going to fit you if it doesn't have a waist measurement. Because dresses are designed differently. You have the cinch dress, you have the wrap dress, you have the sheath dress, you have all these different types of dresses that have these different fits. So if nothing else for a dress, you want to provide the waist measurement for your buyer. And then the final tool that I think is a pretty basic one that I think all resellers should be utilizing is a lint roller. I literally pick up my lint rollers at the dollar store, and it's great because there's a ton of tape on there, and this is probably going to last me 6 months. So I would say it's a good investment, and it definitely is something that every single time, and hey, look at that, I can roll some lint off my shirt today. Every single time I'm listing something, I make sure that before I pack it up for inventorying, which is going to be another video, so stay tuned for that, you need to get it clean. You need to roll the lint off of it and that dust off of it, because your buyer does not want to open up a package with a sweater with a ton of dust or a ton of lint, because that's disgusting. So please invest in the lint roller. Make sure that every single garment is as pristine as possible. This is such a simple way to talk about efficiency. Whoever invented this thing should get some brownie points. To just make your product look as classy as you can, okay? Lint roll away. Okay, so now we're gonna move into some more of the advanced tools for your use as a reseller on Poshmark, and a lot of these tools are going to be relatively cheap, relatively inexpensive, but they'll just allow you to step up your Posh game just a little bit. Like I said earlier, you might already be using some of these. You might already be using all these. You might have more ideas than I do. That's awesome. But these are just the things that I have found tried and true. These are the things I notice that I am buying time and time again just to keep up with how I'm presenting my items to my buyers, and making sure that, you know, I can be consistent in the way of cleanliness and condition. This is my tray. There goes my paper towel. Of items that I generally use to ensure that I'm doing it right, okay? So I'm basically going to be taking you step by step through what each of these is, why I use it, the reason for using it, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the first thing that I want to get into is with my pictures, I actually use a lighting kit. I tried for a long time to use natural light, but it just wasn't cutting it, because I found that A, I couldn't photograph on rainy days, B, I couldn't photograph during the winter time, which is like 7 months of the year in Wisconsin, so that was an issue. And then C, I couldn't photograph during the nighttime because there just simply wasn't enough natural light. And any sort of artificial light just makes your pictures look very yellow and very dull in comparison to something that is lighted properly. So what I did was I invested in a lighting kit, which I got from Amazon for, I believe, somewhere in the field of $50 to $60. And yeah, it's an investment up front, but honestly, I continue to use that day in, day out. I can now photograph during the winter and during the nighttime, and so that's a win in my book. Okay, the next item that I love to use, and I've seen so many postures use it successfully, is so simple and a pretty cheap investment of like 10 to 15 bucks, and that would be this white furry rug. And this guy I use to photograph pretty much all of my flat lays and most of my shoes. And what this allows me to do is just really have that crisp white background, minimizes distractions, it's not patterned, it's a little textured, but really this allows those photos, once everything is said and done, to pop. And then with the rug, the final thing that I really enjoy doing, just personally, I found that this works for me, it's more of like a peace of mind type thing for myself, because I really want to brand my closet, is finding a prop that works for you. Recently I found just this simple faux plant from Target with this concrete looking base. It's really cute, and I just set that right on my rug, right next to the item that I'm photographing, just so that my photos have a little extra pop, right? Because you see the plain white rug, so many postures use it, great, whatever, right? But if you personalize it, there's a little bit more of a chance that someone's going to be like, oh, that's cute, right? It's kind of an appeal thing. It's an attractiveness thing. It just makes the photo pop a little bit more, and it draws more buyers' eyes to that item. All right, so the next thing I'm about to show you as an advanced tool is 2 products that I use all the time to clean shoes. Often when I pick up shoes, there are either Sharpie prices on the bottom or chalk prices on the bottom, and some are easier to get off than others, but either way, you want to make sure that when your shoe arrives to your buyer, it doesn't have a price on the bottom of it, because that looks really bad. So making sure that you can clean that off as well as you can is a huge bonus for you in your Poshmark game. So this Coach flat actually did have a Sharpie price on the bottom, and with the Sharpie on a rubber sole, I love to use 100% acetone. And so the way that I go about using this is I have a used toothbrush in here right now, and I just take that out and scrub a little bit, and it really comes right off. It literally took me, on this guy, I just did this right before I filmed, it took me all of 6 seconds to get it off. It's really strong solution, so making sure too that as you are cleaning off the Sharpie from the bottom of the shoe, that you don't allow it to seep into any of the upper, so the upper material being the leather here in this case, because the acetone will certainly erode and ruin any other part of the shoe, but it is safe to use on a rubber sole and for Sharpie. The second cleaning product that I love to use for shoes is going to be specifically designed for softer, I don't know why I consider them this, but I consider them like softer writing utensils, like a chalk pencil, for instance. There's a chalk pencil on this right now. And what I love to use for that is just a simple magic eraser. So I bought a box of these. I think this whole box by Mr. Clean was like $7 or something. I got it on Amazon where I get everything else usually. And you just get this guy wet. It's kind of like a sponge, and you literally just scrub. And it's going to wash away. And I might use like a paper towel then to dry it off if I need to ship it right away. But these are super, super effective as well. And I always usually do this over the sink because the whole thing is going to be like a sponge. It's going to carry the water with it. But super effective, super good to use, awesome to have on hand when you need to clean those prices off the shoes that you have. Another tool that I love using prior to listing would be my Shout Set-In Stain Scrubber Gel. And this will allow me to take any patches of dirt or any stains that I see on a garment and literally just extract the gel from here, a tiny bit of it, and then go ahead with that scrubber top and scrub it out of the garment. And then I usually do like a once or twice over in that same spot after this has set in with a wet washcloth, just to make sure that that stain is as removed as it possibly can be. And always, always, always do this step prior to photographing and prior to listing so that your buyer knows exactly what they're getting. All right, so the next two products that I really like using are specifically, again, for shoes. So let's just jump into this first one, which is this Coach Leather Cleaner. And despite the brand name, it's not actually all that expensive, so I'd highly recommend investing in a good leather cleaner, if not the same one. This really helps me for cleaning boots. I love using this for cleaning boots, and it's just a simple, aromaless solution, really. And what you're going to do is just dump a little bit of that on a washcloth and go ahead and scrub whatever leather it is that needs cleaning. So I can use this for purses, I can use this for boots, I can use this for leather shoes. And this is super effective, and it's just really quick. I love it. And then the next product that I like using is this Jason Mark Premium Shoe Cleaner. And this stuff is magic. I swear, this is magic in a bottle. I got this off Amazon, and you can clearly see how magical it is because I've used this plenty of times, and it only takes a very, very little bit. Hence why the bottle is still pretty much full. This is remarkable. I love using this. If you are a sneaker seller, this is your jam. I promise you that. If you're picking up a pair of Nikes at the thrift and you want to flip them and you want to list them and they are dirty, Jason Mark is your guy. You've got to go ahead and get this because honestly, this stuff is super potent and it's very bubbly, so it will like foam up as you're cleaning, but as you're cleaning it does such an effective job of just like grabbing that dirt and getting it off. All right, another super important tool that I recently invested in is a lint shaver, or a fabric shaver I guess you call it. And these are super simple. These you can also go ahead and get on Amazon. There's tons of different types of these. I just really like the handheld version. It's so small, right? Super portable, and I just take this off when this fills with the lint, and I go ahead and I dump that in the trash, put that back on, and we're back in business. And the cap comes off, the on button's right there by your thumb, right? And you literally just like go right on top of the fabric with this. So what this is great for is going to be those sweaters where you're noticing pilling, especially in the armpits or those spots where, you know, the garment rubs against itself, just to get like the pilling out of the pit. And then this is also especially great for yoga pants. So I love to sell, for instance, I love to sell Lululemon. and I never pass on an opportunity to get it, even if the garment is super pilled, because guess what? This guy will go in and it will take all of those pills off. So yeah, this is just a super great product to use, especially for your sweaters that have pills on them. And then also like I said, love using this for like a yoga pant. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I had such a fun time chatting with you about some of these reseller tools that I use on a daily basis. And if you liked what you saw today, just go ahead and simply click the like button. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I promise I'll be putting out some more content for you that revolves around more of how to keep your Poshmark closets clean and in the forefront of those buyers' eyes, in addition to doing some thrift hauls and just some more general Posh tips and tricks. So go ahead and like and subscribe. Alright, thank you guys again, and as always, stay stylish.